Okay, so hi. I'm really sorry I couldn't make a video last week. I have really no really good excuse except that I was, just not feeling too well. And I was just not in the mood really, which is, a bad excuse. But yeah, we all need to get punished. We already know that. So yeah, books, authors, etc. Much excitement. And since they sort of go into each other, I'll just sort of like do them at the same time. If that makes any sense. So let's just get started. I've loads to share. Okay, so I'll start out with my childhood. When I was a kid, I loved reading. I've always been this big bookworm, and I think you also mentioned these series of unfortunate events. I loved these as a child. I read them all the time. I had to have them the minute they came out, the new ones. Even though they're kind of depressing and stuff, I just love them. I have all 13 copies. This is number 6. I read them all in English. He writes Elevator, so he's awesome. I love sort of the way they're written. They're funny. Also, Jacqueline Wilson. She was also a big part of my childhood. I loved her books. They're more on the girly side, as she writes for girls, but I always loved her books. This is part of her teenage series, I suppose. So yeah. Percy Jackson, me too. I don't have the book cover right now because I always lose the covers if I have hardback books, which is a really bad habit. I hate it when that happens. This has also happened to this one. Snöman by Joel Nesbø. He's my favorite crime author, and he's Norwegian, so I read all the books in Norwegian, even though some of them are translated to English, and these are some of the few books I actually like reading in Norwegian, because I like reading all originally Norwegian books in Norwegian, and then everything else I just read in English. But yeah, this book is awesome. I love it. And Narnia, I don't know if you can see very well, just the lighting, is awesome. This is a book with all the books in. It's in Norwegian too, because I couldn't find, yeah, I read them both in English and Norwegian. And I haven't actually read this one yet. This is, anyway, sorry, I hate the mirror. Her Fearful Cemetery by Audrey Niffenegger. And I haven't actually read this one yet because I just bought it not too long ago. But I love The Time Traveler's Wife. It's one of my favorite books. I just don't have it right here right now because a lot of my favorite books are at our summer home place still, which is why a lot of my favorite books aren't really here. And that one's there. But yeah, I love her, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one as well. Let's see. Mallory Blackman, her Noughts and Crosses series. It was originally a trilogy, but then she published a 4th book, which I haven't actually read yet, which I also have to read. But these are also just brilliant. They're very interesting because it's a new perspective on racism and stuff, because it's an alternative universe where the black people are the privileged people, and white people are the underclass, and the prejudice against class, etc. And it's really interesting because me being white, I sort of get a whole new perspective into it, and you relate on a whole different level, and it's really interesting. It's really good, and yeah. And The Kite Runner. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini is awesome. And yeah, this is probably the book that really got me into more political books and more wartime books, because I was not really into that much, and more, not really real life. But I've always been such a fantasy geek. I still am fantasy. But yeah, this got me more into other stuff too. And this one's it's so, you know, beautiful and well written, and yeah, anyway, I like that one. Let's see, his Dark Materials, of course, Philip Pullman, awesome trilogy. Also books you've mentioned, of course. So that one's, really, really love that trilogy, and I always reread it every year or so, I suppose, because I do that with all my favorite books. I reread books way too much. I should read more new books than I do. But yeah, I guess it's safe or something. This one, or just John Green books in general, but this was the one I had at hand right now. All my others are at either cabin or summer home place, because all my books are spread everywhere, which is really annoying. But it's always my favorite books that I bring places, and then I just leave them because I don't have room. I don't know. Yeah. But this one's awesome too. So I love it. It's really good. I want to read more by David Levithan too, just to sort of see what he's like, because I really enjoyed his parts in this book. And we have the Black Magician trilogy by Trudy Kahneman, which is really good, and I really enjoyed. With 3 books recommended. Gone with the Wind, which is probably one of my favorite classics. And although I really enjoyed it, and it really sort of like, I don't know, it made me look at racism in a completely new way, and it sort of helped me a lot also in school, because we were studying just racism in the States and the Civil War there. So this was a really interesting perspective, seeing it from a Southerner's point of view. And it's really good, and yeah, I love it. And Hunger Games, of course. It's the same copy you have, Asta. And yeah, it's awesome. I'm so good at explaining books. But yeah, I look also. This is the reason I also look forward to going to the States. Because I've yet to buy lots of new books that I can't get a hold of here. Like, for example, Mockingjay, which I look forward to reading. So this is Catching Fire. I only have the Hunger Games on Kindle. Isn't nearly as satisfying as having it in book form. Now we have this book, which I love. I only bought it this summer in London. But it's really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite YA books. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This one's very good, and I also want to read other things by this guy, which I also hope to find in the States. And of course, blessed of all, we also have Harry Potter. I can't really go without mentioning them, as these are basically my life, almost. And yeah, I spend way too much time on these books. But yeah, here we have Deathly Hallows. Yeah, Harry Potter. So, I don't really have, yeah. So I do actually have other books I'd like to do also, perhaps instead almost of some of these books, because I have a lot of favorite books. I mean, well, my book just collapsed here. And not all of them are even here, because I have a lot of, like I said, they're spread all over the place. So, books. Fun stuff. See you on Monday. See you next.